Hi, Dinara. Hey, Nick. We should start with a quiz, right?
Absolutely, whenever you want.
Seiji's text.
Yay. Yay. We cover only a few chapters, so the questions are pretty easy. Who can tell me what are the two types of distractions the Master Shantideva cut and give some examples?
Chinang.
Mhm. And in English?
Outside and inside.
Yeah. Can you give me some examples of outside, for example?
My tree.
My tree. Or the smell of French fries.
Right. Objects of the senses, yes. Internal?
Oh, I'm very familiar with those.
Mental afflictions.
Yes, mental negative emotions. Yeah, you got it. Awesome. What are the three activities of a sage that Master Shantideva developed?
He wrote.
Wrote, explain, and compose.
Yep.
Or something.
Debating.
Debate, explain, and compose. Yeah.
Right. Explain. Yeah.
Wait. Supper. Supper.
Debate. We said it again.
Supper. Number two is supper.
Oh,
Yeah.
debating?
Yeah.
Oh.
You can have practice at home. Bring it to you.
All right. And the third one is more like a topic to discuss. Why would someone as accomplished as him that I went back and check on his biography. He had gotten an empowerment at 6 and then accomplished at 20 something or 14 something. Why would someone pretend to be would have the outer actions that he had and then as he was teaching show his true self?
Who says that he wasn't showing his true self before? It was the karma of the people who were looking at him as a slacker. That was their problem, not his.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. That's along the lines that I was thinking, yeah, maybe people not to judge, reminding of his emptiness. Yeah. I thought something similar as you would, Pana.
But he was just tired because he was writing the Bodhisattvas life all night.
Yes.
No time to eat, sleep, or poop when he was writing.
Sounds like somebody else, bored.
He was too busy doing his Bodhisattva activities. All right. Kepe Chawasum.
Three activities of a master.
Yep. Niet.
Fine.
Sorry?
Or maybe it's the wrong spelling, but I thought that was fine.
No,
ED is find.
I think it might have a BRNY. I think,
Yeah.
Oh,
but probably there's a form like this.
Is it to please? What is that, Seiji?
to scorn, to look down
Yeah.
on.
That's correct. Yeah.
Oh wow.
That was one of the vocabularies. Actually, Geshe-la gave me this one.
Okay.
Rangdung Joel.
This is a cute word.
Auto kick out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the context word?
If Master Shantideva is so foolish as to give the address all the monks, he will just kick himself out because he's just some busuku.
Right.
We don't have to do it.
Yep. There you go. Kick himself out.
Nice.
And that's pretty much it. Oh, and the translation
Yeah.
gave me a big hand.
Who helped you?
Nick.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Can you read it, Seiji?
Uh-huh.
Forget
Yes,
meter.
Deshe Shirki Kunga Sechetang.
Good.
Chao Kulang Gupar Chakselte.
Sure.
Desh Seki Domlai Jupani. Lungshin Dordu Neni Joparcha.
9. Okay. So Daishin Shekpa means. Oh, sorry, Dewa Shekpa.
The
one
one
gone to
that was the bliss.
Yeah, what's the Sanskrit?
Sugata.
Sugata. Good. They have, okay, good. I would take that as a positive. They shake those who have gone to bliss, who possess a reality body. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Along with their children. Good. Mixed not standard, we decided not to capitalize generic bodhisattva.
So children can be a lowercase, yeah.
Yeah, we only capitalize enlightened beings like Buddha.
I know.
I know if I did that, it was by accident.
Okay, good. Okay. Well, your children is capital C.
For sure.
Okay. Deshe seke domla jupani.
Oh, sorry, I need to be back. My tree just fell. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Oh, guy.
I'll keep going, okay? What's shaka means? Those who are worthy of prostration. So I bow down to the Buddhists. I bow down to the Bodhisattvas. And Nick.
All those worthy of prostration.
Yeah, and anybody else who's bowable.
Mhm.
Okay. Seiji, you're on the third line. Deshe seki dom. Commitments of the children, the victors. Good. Yep. Chupani. Longshin dordu neni jipaja. Longshin means in keeping with lung.
Yeah, like the scriptures say.
Yeah, sticking to the scriptures.
Right.
I will give a brief presentation. Now, Nick, since you're the helper here, there's a very intriguing switch out here.
Switch out.
Something has been switched out.
From a familiar verse or something.
It doesn't say Charya Avatara anymore.
It says, yeah. So it's Dompa instead of.
Yeah. Now, for some reason, Shantideva, Master Shantideva, when he starts the actual book, he says, I will now explain how to get into. He doesn't say the activities of a bodhisattva, he says the vows of a bodhisattva.
Yeah.
Okay. And he clearly, the difference is a big topic in his book. So I think he's making a statement, which would be,
if you want to practice the way of life of a bodhisattva, why not take the bodhisattva vows?
Yeah, or the vows are the way of life almost. It's an interesting switch out. And by the way, he never does anything by accident. Just so you know, he always has a sneaky thing in mind. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next. Seiji, can you read the next one?
Sorry, just Nur went to pick up the food. Okay. Shepane kante ngotang ngumeta chepe warsune.
Hang on just a second. I gotta. My boss asked me a question. Okay. Now, so he started with that last verse. This is his biography, right? We are not studying his book yet. We are studying his life story. And they tried to embarrass him. They said, give us a teaching. And they thought that he would embarrass himself and leave the monastery. And he got up and he gave this. Now he started with the opening line, which is 1.1, chapter 1, verse 1, is the one we just read. Okay. And then he got up to another verse, which starts with Kang Sengu Dangu Medak. Okay. So, yeah, from this quote up to where it says, whenever we're talking about things or the absence of things, yeah, or reality or non-reality or something like that. And meaning, and when he got partway into emptiness of teaching the Bodhisattva Charyavatara, which is pretty far. Okay, I calculated for you something. He was about almost halfway through the emptiness chapter. Okay, and then something happened. Okay, Seiji, you read this third one here.
Dechin Sung Shin Du Tsu Tru Ki Namka La Pakte Jeto Chetor Katang Kimpan Trempa Shintu Shekne Tarku Minanwar Trape Kone Sokpart Tente Shekso.
Yeah, good. De Chin Sung means, this chin means up to there, up to that point. Okay. He taught the text up to that point.
Oh, that's from before.
Yeah, up to he got to the lines we just mentioned. And then he used his Zutru. What's that?
Miracle body.
What's the Tibetan word for Arya? Papa. It comes from a verb which means to rise higher. Okay, so the word Arya, which in Tibetan is Papa, it does mean a person who has gone higher, a higher person. So here, and you rarely see the verb used by itself, and here it is. He pak into the Namka. Yeah, he started flying into the sky. He started to rise into the open sky. Okay. Jeto, to means higher. To means high. Jeto means higher and higher. Okay. Jeto. Then here's an interesting expression.
I don't think I understood this next part.
The Shindu means it almost seemed as if the Ka and his Kemba were Demba. Denda means to compete.
Oh, cool. I got it. It seemed as if the sky and his wisdom or his understanding were competing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Wow,
it's very beautiful. His ideas and the width of the sky were competing.
I knew I was totally confused.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. Sheikh, Nick, comment on this verb to go. Why didn't he say draw?
Because he wanted to use the past tense.
no, totally.
Chin.
The Holy Land.
Yeah, he's using high.
Yeah, I gotcha.
He's using the verb for go that we only use with Buddhists. Who wrote the biography is using the word that we only use for Buddhists going. Okay, he shaked tar. Yeah, tar means finally in the end. Kumi nawar. Yeah, people couldn't see his body anymore, but they could still hear him teaching. Okay, certain people could still hear him teaching. By the way, they say you had to be a high bodhisattva to keep up with him, even audibly, you know. So, minawar sun, chapegone, Dzogpa he finished dun. Yeah, he finished his recitation of his own poetry, and then shake.
And he
Left.
Cool off.
Yeah, he disappeared. Okay. And then he just disappeared. Okay. And the whole story is very beautiful. They went looking for him.
So Geshe-la.
Yeah.
So does that imply the teaching was like outside or something?
Mhm.
Or did he go through like the window?
I always pictured it in the courtyard of the monastery. For some
Well,
reason, I
no,
feel like that's part of
because
the
they-
story.
My impression from the text so far was that he was sitting in a building at Nalanda Monastery. So I think he just passed through the roof or something.
Okay, that's my question, because in my head I always see him in the monastery, and next thing you know, he's like in the atmosphere. So yeah, he just like
Yeah. That's how I see it. I see him just melting through the roof, you know.
all right.
Once they make the movie, we'll know for sure.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Thank you, Seiji. Good job. I don't know how you run DCI and SCIM and make sure grandpa's family gets fed and take care of your kids and your wife and also do all this work. I have no idea how you do it. But I'm glad you do.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, hey, we're supposed to stop there. Yeah, we did. Okay. And we're gonna go to.
We will take the
Oh, by the way, I went and marked in the text, which is at the. I inserted the root text at the end of your book,
Mhm.
and he was about 34 verses into 133. So he was about a quarter way through the emptiness teachings when he disappeared. Okay, or when he started to rise up. And there's a debate about the 10th chapter, which is the dedication chapter. Some people have claimed that that wasn't part of the book, and the true Shantidevians say, if you had listened better when he was up in the sky, you would have heard it.
if it says 1/4, does it mean that we do have the other 3/4 somewhere?
Yeah, we know we have the whole thing, but your biographer said that the point at which he took off was around 20% true. I was curious how far, because at that point, he started to lose people. You know, about 20% through the emptiness teaching, he started to lose people. Some people say, I don't understand what he's saying. You know, so it's kind of cool.
That chapter 10 is considered to be perfection number 1, no?
I'm sorry, what?
Chapter 10 is considered to be a teaching on the first perfection.
Chapter 10?
Bodhisattva.
No, it's called dedication.
But didn't it say that it's the teaching on giving the perfections?
Oh, does it stand for the one that's missing? Maybe. We'll have to think about that. I'm sorry. This is
Geshe-la, Venerable Pala says try $3
a
There
$3.
you go. Yay.
All right, I'm sorry. Yeah. Did we work on this? We didn't work on this.
No.
Okay. All right, here we go. Please read one, Seiji, and then you can make somebody else suffer.
Gewa Shenkun Chu Shin Shin Tuni Drebu Kene Separangyuwani Changchum Seki Jen Shin Takparyan Drepu Jinpe Miseb Chelwangyu.
Pelwagir. Good.
Chelwangyu.
What's Gewa, Seiji?
Virtue.
Shen. Other, like Dak Shen Yamji. Okay. Others. Kun means all. Okay. What's a chushin?
bamboo.
It's a water tree, which is they say bamboo, maybe. So other good karmas are similar to bamboo tree. Debuke, when they give their debu, Seiji? When they give debu? When they give their fruits, okay, or when they give their results, set. They finish. So it's like if you buy a dinner for somebody, Seiji, like a nice macaroni and salad dinner, which you and Noor just did for us, and thank you for dinner. So when you buy somebody dinner, then later on, that when that karma comes back to you, then that energy is finished. Okay, then the plant has given its fruit, and the plant dies. What do you call a perennial and a annual? Yeah, annuals give their flowers and then die, and then the plant dies, and perennials come back every year. So he says some karmas, like buying somebody dinner, you get 2 or 3 dinners back, and that's the end of it. Okay, but Junqing here means perennial tree, perennial fruit tree. Okay, like a peach tree or something. Bodhicitta is like a peach tree because it keeps giving debu. It keeps giving its results year after year. When you do something imagining that you're helping every living being in the universe, even though you can't perceive those beings, even though you are taking on faith that they exist at all, the karma is much, much different. Okay, so I told you about my Israeli boss, right? Who started giving huge donations to me from my monastery. And then finally one day I was like, why are you doing that? You know, you're from Israel, you're Jewish, you know. And he said, you got to cover your bases. You never know who's right. You know, I thought, wow, he's so smart. Okay, so maybe it's true, maybe it's not true, but it doesn't cost you anything more when you buy somebody dinner to dedicate it to all living beings. It doesn't cost you anything, you know. And maybe it's just superstition, but maybe it's real, and you're going to find out later. But it doesn't hurt. You know, it's like my Jewish boss giving this, he gave a debate ground to the monastery, and it doesn't hurt, you know. So at least you did a nice thing for somebody. But maybe you're going to plant a karma which never stops, you know, and that would be cool. So I say, why not cover your bases, you know? Okay. All right, we're going to learn some Sanskrit words here. As I mentioned, we have a beautiful husband and wife team, Sanskrit scholars in Colorado, and they are providing us with a final version of this book of Seiji's poetry because of the handwriting problem. What's that mean? Yeah, Sanskrit was never carved onto blocks. And every time, by the way, who gets the job in the monastery to write the books out by hand? It's the slackers. The guys who are going to be geshes are busy. They don't have time to sit somewhere and write books out by hand. The guys who get stuck with writing books out by hand are the guys who are never going to be a geshe. And they're lazy and they can't read it. So they just copy. And they always make mistakes. And then that goes to the next generation and they make more mistakes. So Sanskrit manuscripts are terrible. And we haven't really tackled that problem. We have a hard time inputting them. Why? There might be 5 different spellings of one word in 5 different manuscripts, you know, and you could put all these possible choices and it gets really impossible. The thing you can't read it, you know. So anyway, what our policy is, we find a super expert and we ask them to look at all the manuscripts and give us a version. So we have these people, and it's interesting, and I'll say again, they keep refusing payment. They say, this is too holy to take payment for, and they keep doing it. And I've met them, and they live very simply, and it's very beautiful. Okay. So anyway, if we could sneak something up to there, it'd be good. There are places in Sanskrit where words are joined together. We call, what do you call it?
Compounds.
Compound words, right? And there's like, I don't know, 10 different kinds of compounds in Sanskrit. And so they're always smushing words together. And some of them should probably be left together. But it's my personal feeling that people would like to learn Sanskrit. And that's why we put it in the book. We put the ancient Sanskrit in the book because some of the students might want to learn Sanskrit. And Sanskrit naturally on a piece of paper might have no word spaces. You know, just imagine if the whole sentence, if the whole teaching I've been giving for 10 minutes was handed to you in writing with no spaces between the words, okay? So that's classical Sanskrit. So we have a rule in the mixed nuts. We artificially divide those words. And what you see here is the result of that. What you see under 112 is hyper divided. I've divided it, and I'll show you one important example. Well, I don't want to tell you yet. That's another story. Okay, just know, Grandpa has left you when there's Sanskrit for your later life. I have left you with Sanskrit versions that are split up for you. Each word is split up for you. And if I didn't do that, you would never touch the Sanskrit. It's just too difficult. So some fool is going to criticize this mixed nuts decision. And I'm okay with that. I have met a few people like that in my life. And I didn't change anyway. So, and I don't regret it. So we're going to keep splitting the Sanskrit words out for you. If you don't like it, if you'd rather see the thing glued together, then take out all the spaces and don't bother me, okay? Okay, I'm doing it for you. Roughly, you should be able to find a word in the Tibetan and then go up and find the word in the Sanskrit, and then you'll learn something, okay? So that's why I did it. And if anybody complains, you send them to my house. Okay, I have work for them. Okay, now, when I teach Sanskrit, my Sanskrit's about 5% as good as my Tibetan. Like, I did not focus on it. I learned it at Princeton. I spent 10 years with the teacher privately. But it's not worth spending years of your life on. It's not worth it. Why? Less than 1% survives. So if you don't mind missing 99% of all the great books, then spend your time learning Sanskrit. Okay, but otherwise, I strongly advise you to learn Tibetan because there are 300,000 high-quality books written in Tibetan. There are more high-quality books in Tibetan than in any other language in the world that I'm aware of. So learn it, okay? And, you know, then you have 300,000 books to spend the rest of your life with, and it is a very pleasant life if you learn to read them. You know, you get addicted, even in the car, right? Unless someone's interrupting you about university questions, you can translate all the way to Phoenix or Tucson. Okay, all right, I'm just kidding. I love if I didn't like it, I would get another car. Okay. So I'd like to teach you a few Sanskrit words just because it helps you. And what's the big selling point for Sanskrit?
Enlightened beings speak it.
Yeah, when you get enlightened, you speak in Sanskrit, and everyone understands their own language. Okay, Buddhists speak in Sanskrit. Everyone hears their own language. Okay, and that's so. Here's a word, and I'd like you to learn these words. Okay, say pala. Okay, that's the Sanskrit word for fruit or result. Okay, so it's a very important. It's a very important word in Sanskrit. Result. Okay, where's the result in the verse?
Table.
But what was it?
What runs out from deeds that aren't that great?
Well, it's repeated twice, pala.
Oh yeah, and then what comes from bodhicitta?
Yeah, good. And pala came into English. When you see a PH in Sanskrit, think B or P or F. Okay, so the word ball comes from pala. The word full comes from pala. The word poor in Singapore comes from pala, and it means full, right? Okay, so that's a beautiful, if you learn the cognates means English words that came, by the way, all the languages from Iceland to Iran came from Sanskrit. 50 languages came from Sanskrit, including English. Okay, so you should be able to find words, cognates, and then it's a lot more fun. Okay, so it's pala, and I'm going to ask you next time. I can't think of any punishment, but maybe I'll give you $10 if you can tell me what it means. Okay, good. Pala, full. Maybe fruit comes from that because R's and L's tend to switch out. Okay, say kushala. There's two sha sounds in Sanskrit. Okay, there's two different letters that sound like the English sha, and I think Chinese has these two different ones. X in Chinese pinyin is sha, and then I think is it how do you say S? Just S is sha.
Oh, SH.
SH is sha, and they're not the same. One is palatal, one is retroflex. You turn your tongue back, like za is C in Chinese opinion. There's two sha sounds in Sanskrit. Say sha. Now turn your tongue up. Sha. Yeah. You are so stupid. I don't know what you're doing. The Indians have this, we call retroflex. They bend their tongue back. So there's two shas in Sanskrit. And we don't have a sha in English. So for normal sha, we put this mark over the S. Okay. And for the retroflex, for all the retroflexes, we put a dot under the S. Okay. And it changes the meaning. Okay. It changes the meaning. So you got to say it right. Okay. So say kushala. Kushala. Kushala means, which Tibetan word here is kushala, you guys?
Chunxing.
Nope.
Kushala means holy, right, Ken?
Getting there. Give me a word out of the verse.
Gewa.
Gewa, yeah, good karma, good deed. Okay.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can say kushala. Okay. Sometimes you can say kushala. And we have a famous, by the way, SHS, they get mixed up. Kusali Tok. The offering of kusali in the Vajragini practice. And kusha grass. Okay, so kusha grass, we offer it in the fire offering, and it's holy grass, and it represents good karma. So it's called good karma grass. So you can say kusha, that's the grass. By tradition, Lord Buddha was sitting on the kusha grass when he got enlightened. So we use it in the fire offering, for example. Okay, so here's the word in the verse of Shantideva. kushala means good karma. Okay, so try to remember, if you learn 5 words of Sanskrit every week, it's not going to hurt you, right? And it'll come in handy later. Okay, guess what this word is? Bodhicitta. Okay, say cha. So Sanskrit has 2 different cha sounds. One is called aspirated. Listen. Cha. Okay. And one is called unaspirated. Cha. Okay. One is cut short, no lot of air coming out. And they're completely different letters. Okay. If you mix them up, you will never learn Sanskrit. Okay. Say cha. 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 Cha we call first column. Cha we call second column. I'm going to test you. Cha. Who said third? Get out of here. Second. I'll say it again. You ready? Listen. Cha. First column. I'll say it again. Cha. Cha. Yeah, and what we call the value of the vowel also changes. The length changes and the value of the vowel changes. If you hear carefully, in the short one, in the first one, the vowel sound is more of a. And in the second one, it's more of a long a. Say cha, cha. Okay, got it? And the cha is twice as long in milliseconds. Okay, so there's a change in the vowel quality, there's a change in the aspiration, and there's a change in the length of the sound. I'll say it again. Cha, cha. Okay, good. Okay, and if you can't pronounce it right, you will never learn Sanskrit. It's impossible. It's like you're mixing up A and B in English. You'll just never learn it. You'll always be. It's almost impossible to learn a language and mess up 2 or 3 of the letters. It's just not possible. Okay. All right. So say bodhicitta. Yeah, and the people the British invader guys, they chose C for the short one. And they chose what for the long one? CH. Okay, so you got to pay attention. When it's C, it's cha. When it's CH, it's cha. Okay. Now, listen. The C here is for writing, how do you say, transcribing the Sanskrit. Each letter, the point of this spelling here is only to give a linguist the correct pronunciation. That's the only purpose of spelling it with a C, is to communicate to a linguist. This is a unaspirated C, CH, and it's not an aspirated CH. It is only for a linguist. Okay? If you're writing translations for people, then for God's sake, spell it the way we usually spell it. Okay? Don't be an idiot. Okay? This is, okay, how are you going to spell this in a translation? With the CH. Yeah, I mean, okay. We don't have a C in English that is a CH. We have a tsa somewhere. There's some Italian words, but not pizza. But so what happens, and you can tell I'm a little passionate about it, translators mix them up in their translations. Everybody, everywhere, all of them. And listen, if you can't tell the difference between B and C, then don't be a translator, because you're just going to mess things up. Okay, I'll say it again. If B sounds the same as C to you, maybe you want to go back and work on that. Okay, and everything you see, every database except for one, they mix them up. They randomly with no sense. I mean, it's stupid to start with, and then they mix it up like an idiot. It's unbelievable. And so in my feeling, maybe you can feel, if you can't tell the difference between B and C, why are you translating? Why are you spending all that time? Why are you doing all that work? And everybody except ALL and the mixed nuts, they mix them up because they don't see any difference. And it's unbelievable. It's weird. I got it. When are you gonna put
ingraining that into it?
When are you gonna put a C? By the way, we just gave 2 major grants to 2 organizations that are doing pretty good work. And we want to help them. They're kind of competitors of ours. And they both messed this up, I gotta say. But we're still giving them grants because at least they're trying, yeah, that's all. It's just, please understand the difference. And when a mixed nut does it, it's extremely depressing for grandpa. When a mixed nut mixes them up, that's not why you're called mixed nuts, by the way. It's very, very disturbing to me. It's like I spent 7 years and they still don't get it. It's like I just go home and mope around. My wife asked me what's wrong. I said somebody put Bodhisattva.
Yes,
it'll be all right.
Mind saying that word again so we can hear if there is any difference between the eyes.
Between the what?
Eyes in that word.
Bodhicitta.
There are 2 eyes there.
Chitta.
No, long eye would be bodhicitta, something like that.
But they're both the same, right?
The 2 short eyes in this word, I think. Right?
Yeah, they're both short eyes. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I mean, we can talk about it, but start to get sensitized to it. If you're going to learn Sanskrit, for God's sake, the first day is short A and long A. All right, good. All right, Seiji. Let's read this next one.
Dikpa shintu mise chenayang hala tene jikpa chempotar kanla tene yuki chongyurwa dela pakchen namki chimiten.
Yeah, good. It's a very deep verse, as they all are. Okay, what's Dikpa?
Bad deeds.
Bad deeds.
Yeah, by the way, in Sanskrit, it's Papa.
Papa.
Papa. Even in modern Hindi, they'll say Pap. It means don't do that, bad deed. Okay, Dikpa Shintu Mise means, this Mise means almost like,
Can't stand it?
Unbearable, right?
well, okay, here's the thing, you guys. When you see Mise, you got to study it. Because sometimes it means,
Doesn't wear out?
yeah, sometimes it means Misupa, which means unbearable. Misupa. And sometimes it means Misepa,
Inexhaustible.
never wears out. Yeah. But this would be a good this would be a good place if you had
Sanskrit?
if you had the Sanskrit and you could okay. And it happens to be Sudarunu, which just means really. Okay. It doesn't mean doesn't wear out. Okay. So if you have the Sanskrit, I don't want you to learn Sanskrit. I don't want you to take the time to learn Sanskrit well enough to read it well. I don't want you to spend the time. Your life is not that long. I don't want you to spend that time. But learning of Sanskrit that you can go and check which say is it, because this say can be 2 different things, unending or unbearable. And the way they've translated it up here is like unbearable. Okay, unbearable. Okay. Anyway, Dikpa Shintu Mise Chenayang, if you've done some extremely bad karma, And what's Dikparanya? What's the root meaning of Dikpa in Tibetan? What does Dikpa?
Finger.
Wise that point out the better.
To threaten somebody. Okay, the word in Tibetan for bad karma is threat. Okay, Dikpa. It's one of the words for bad karma. It's threat. Dikpa. What's a scorpion in Tibetan?
Ikparanya.
Dikparanya. And this gesture in Tibetan is called the threat. This is called Dikpa. And scorpions are called Dikpers. They're like this threatening thing, okay? So if you've done a bad deed and it is threatening you, right? Or if someone's giving you a hard time outside, someone's yelling at you or something, somebody's threatening you, I'm going to shoot you or something like that, okay? If you can find a bao,
Warrior.
find a warrior, a sakba, okay? Warrior. If you can find a warrior, then you can stand on them, sugang. He's the master of this one word. Yeah, you can rely on them. You can, if you have a superhero next to you, you could say, hey, you want to help me out here? Okay. Pala ten means, then Jigpa Chimbo, would you be afraid?
Super scared.
Times of great fears.
Yeah. Even if it was a great threat, you could draw. That's the draw in Doma.
Yeah, you could liberate. You could be free.
Yeah. What's the Sanskrit for draw?
Para.
Tarpa.
Yeah, there should be a tar up here somewhere, maybe. Okay. By the way, those of you who like word, when you're struggling, when you're digging through the Sanskrit lines to try to find something familiar, just be aware that when a Sanskrit author is trying to make meter, he will massage the word totally.
Yeah.
He'll choose a word that has the right number of beats. So you might not find any tar in here. That's what I'm saying. Here it is, maybe authority, but don't get frustrated when a book is written in poetry that you can't find the Sanskrit word that you thought should be there because it's got the wrong number of syllables, and he didn't use it. Okay, and it's very frustrating. Okay, all right. So you can have somebody threatening you heavily, but if you have Rob Haggerty as your bodyguard, you're freed immediately from any kind of fear. Okay, Kangladeni in a single year means in a single instant. Rob shows up. Somebody's hassling me. Rob comes out the door, and then the guy's like, "Oh, I gotta go." Okay, in an instant. Okay. Bak Chen means Bak Chen. What does it mean?
Someone who's careful.
Yeah, literally means someone who's careful or someone who knows what they're doing. Chi miten.
You don't want to rely. Why would you rely on them?
No, why wouldn't you?
Oh, why wouldn't you?
If someone was threatening you on the street and it was getting dangerous, and you had a person behind you, you could just say, "Hey, take care of this guy." Then why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you try to hang out with this guy? You see what I mean? Why wouldn't you try it if you're walking through a dangerous part of New York, right? We did it. We used to do it for many years. It's a skill, actually. You're walking at night through a dangerous part of New York, and you have a chance to walk with a big, heavy, strong guy. You do it. You don't care if he brushes his teeth or not. And what I'm saying is, Shantideva says, someone really threatens you, and there's somebody around who could blow that guy away in a single second, then why wouldn't you ask him to walk with you? What's wrong with you? Okay. What is does he say, does he give the punchline?
Well, we're at time. Or we have
By the way, who's the Rob Haggerty in the verse? Bodhicitta.
Oh.
Bodhicitta. Okay. If loving every living being has the power to destroy any problem in your life, then why the hell don't you hang around with him? What's wrong with you? Okay, bodhicitta. If bodhicitta has the power to destroy any negative thing in your life, why don't you get to know him? You know, like hang out with him, get him to walk around with you. You know, okay, got it. It's very beautiful. It's very beautiful. Okay. Super love is the best bodyguard. All right. So, Seiji, you're going to start at 14 and you're going to do 3 verses. Okay. All right. No peeking at the ACI courses. Seiji's like,
And Geshe-la, remember to give us the prefix su.
I'm going to stop above that, Utpala. You see here? I anticipated your request. Yeah, it's still there. Okay. All right. See
Thanks a lot, Geshe-la.
Great.
Anything else, Uncle Nick?
No, just get some rest, Geshe-la. Get rid of that cold.
Yeah, well.
We need you healthy for a long time.
Yeah. I'm going to go home and sleep. Okay.
Yeah, please rest. Please stay.
Okay.
Thanks, Geshe-la. Thanks, Nick.
All right. Thank you for doing it, Seiji. Thank you for giving us an excuse to read about it.
Thank you.
See you guys soon.
All right, everybody, get some rest.
Thank you.
Thank you,
You.
Geshe-la.
Ciao, ciao. One more day before break, so
Oh,
yeah. All right, see ya.
bye.